In a family environment where there is a lot of chaos and conflict, there may be, the parents may be fighting with each other, there may be all kinds of things that are going on in that family environment. What we're seeing happening generally is that there is what we call a triangular dynamic occurring that is called the victim, rescuer, perpetrator or persecutor triangle. So the first point to talk about is the victim point on the triangle. It's important to understand here that when I'm talking about the victim in the triangle, I'm not talking about someone who is literally being victimized. So someone who is being abused or traumatized or neglected in some way. That person is being, is a victim and is being victimized. But that is different to the dynamic that I'm talking about on the triangle. The victim in the triangle dynamic is a person who is feeling overwhelmed by their own sense of powerlessness and inadequacy and feeling helpless and hopeless in a situation. And what they do as a way of trying to move out and away from that feeling, to get away from that feeling, is to externalize and to project onto someone else to fix it for them. I can't deal with this. I can't help myself. You fix it for me. So the next point on the triangle is the persecutor. And the persecutor on the triangle is someone who is really being very unaware of their own power and how they are misusing their power in a situation. So they may be being controlling, they may be being, demanding and unreasonable. Whatever their behaviour is that they are engaging in, they are using their power in a negative way. But what we tend to find in that persecutory behaviour is that the persecutor's internal sense of themselves or belief about what is happening is that they are being victimized by someone or something else. And because it feels very uncomfortable to be in that victim feeling, then the way that they are trying to defend against that or get themselves out of feeling like a victim is to persecute someone else in some way or another. And then the final point on the triangle is the rescuer point on the triangle. And the rescuer is someone who seeks to save another person from a situation where they perceive that person to be unable to help themselves, look after themselves, take care of themselves in some way. And so the rescuer tries to fix it for this other person. And by taking on that role of, I'm the rescuer, I'm the hero in the situation, that helps that person feel as though that they are powerful. Okay, so essentially what we're talking about in each of those points on the triangle is that even though they look very different in terms of the behaviour and what a person might be giving out about, how they think and how they feel, everyone on the triangle is in some way feeling disempowered, but they are managing that feeling of being disempowered in a different way. And very often what you'll find in the rescuer feels like they are doing a really good job in trying to help and fix the situation, but they can often be perceived and experienced by the person who they are trying to rescue as actually being a persecutor. So it's a very, very complex dynamic, and it's a dynamic that anybody can find themselves in, and we all do at different times in our lives find ourselves, caught up in that kind of dynamic. And it may be happening in our personal relationships, it may be happening with a partner, it may be happening in a friendship group, it may be happening in a work environment. It's something that can really flare up in any situation. And really what is in the important thing around that is for the different players caught up in that dynamic is to recognise what role that they are playing and to find a way to step off the triangle. So let's think about the triangle from the child's perspective, that child who is caught up in an environment with warring parents where they are being pulled in different directions by their parents. So the victim point on the triangle for the child is bad things are happening to me because I'm bad. The persecutor point on the triangle is I am bad because I do bad things. And so for a child, that might be, I'm telling lies. I'm telling lies about mummy, I'm telling lies about, daddy, or whatever, whatever they might be doing that they are feeling that I'm doing the wrong thing. And they're also feeling as though that it's a way of trying to have some power in the situation. I can hurt mum or I can hurt dad by what I say or what I do because you're hurting me and I don't have any other control in the situation other than to lash out in whatever whatever tools I've got that I can use. And then the rescuer part of the triangle that's going on for the child is feeling I'm all powerful and I can fix it. So this is the child that finds himself caught between, mum and dad, or mum and mum, or dad, whatever the dynamic is, and trying to navigate away, trying to get the parents to like each other, to make up, to be friends, or if one of the parents is really upset, I will try and look after them and make them feel better. So what we find is that child can bounce around from any point in the triangle just at an internal level with how they are perceiving themselves and how they are responding to their environment and the things that are happening around them. So what we see with the triangle dynamic is kind of like a loop that just keeps going round and round. There is a conflict, whatever that conflict might be, and it could be two parents at war with each other. We've got people in that dynamic feeling like they are powerless, they are feeling like the victim. Anyone who's feeling like a victim is going to want to move out of that situation as quickly as possible. And so very likely the way that they will get out of that position of feeling victimized is to do something that makes them feel in that moment as though I've got some power, I can do something that will change the situation, which often means that they will behave in an unreasonable, unfair way, and so they become the persecutor. So they've moved from being victim to persecutor. Then they feel bad about what they've done, so they go back into feeling that they are in that victim space, and then so they have to do something to make themselves feel better. And what we see is that it just goes round and round and round. So the whole purpose of understanding that triangle is to recognise when it's been activated, and for parents in the situation to recognise they are the ones that are responsible. They need to find a way to step off the triangle, to stop perpetuating that dynamic. It's not up to the kids. The kids can't fix it. The only people that can fix it in that situation are the parents, and they may need help with that. They may need to be seeking out, counsellors and mediators. It may be that, lawyers do need to be involved, but for that to sort of really work in the child's best interests, each of the parents need to understand what it is that they're bringing into that dynamic and how they're perpetuating it.